Well, wealthy, rising, reflection, soul tribe, beautiful souls. It's another great day to be alive, and welcome to the Shet Show-Abundance Conversations. And for those of you that have never heard of the Shet Show, the Shet Show is an exciting and hilarious weekly podcast that showcases a wide range of guests who are experts in all things abundance. This strikingly unique podcast is filled with a few Shetty shenanigans that will make you laugh and keep you entertained from beginning to end. Through witty banter and insightful conversations, the Shet Show promises to deliver you a completely immersive experience that explores the many different facets of abundance and what it means to truly live a rich and fulfilling life. So tune in every week for a fresh episode featuring some of the most interesting and engaging guests in the industry. And you don't want to miss out on this one-of-a-kind podcast because it's sure to brighten up your day, right? So my name is Sherletta Germain. I go by Shet, which is the reason for the show, not to be confused with the E being replaced with the I. Although sometimes things like that happens, right? I have a co-host who doesn't even know that I'm recording the studio today. His name is Larry Penton, Senior from Penton Pending Consulting Solutions, LLC. And some days I can say that without stuttering, and some days I can't. And I'm going to just press through my stuttering because that's what I do, right? So today on the show, we have a little bit of a different format. God Brother LP is not in the building with me today. I wanted to not have him in the building because I wanted to see if I can do some things on my own. So I want to talk about that in a little bit. Today is going to be about me, my survivor story. So as you can see, this is about my journey beyond breast cancer. My name is Sherletta Germain, and I am the host of the Shet Show, right? We started this August 11th. It's been an amazing experience. And so I'm just going to tap right in. So I'm going to treat you like I'm going to treat myself, or treat myself in this case like I'm going to treat my guests, so that you know what to expect. All right. So without further ado, this episode 5, or maybe episode 6, I'm not sure. I believe it's going to be episode 5 of the Shet Show-Abundance Conversations is going to be a powerful and inspiring one. My journey of what I feel is resilience and healing after my breast cancer diagnosis and my double mastectomy with immediate reconstruction will undoubtedly provide some valuable insights and encouragement for others that are facing similar challenges. I wanted to share my personal story so that I can help raise awareness and provide support and inspire hope within the community. I felt that this was important to continue to discuss topics like breast cancer and survivorship, because it fosters an understanding and offers guidance to those in need. My prayer and my hope is that the episode goes well enough to reach many people who can benefit from these experiences and my wisdom. So without further ado, we've got a few things lined up today. Well, I have a few things lined up today. I wanted to welcome you to the show, which I did. I wanted to let you know that God Brother LP is not going to be in the building today. Brother LP, you can, beat me up later. You're not going to beat me up, but you can interview me later, right? I needed to do this for my own personal reasons. And so it wasn't a shot at him. It's just to see if I could navigate. Well, we're going to talk about that in a moment. So we're going to start off with my bio, and then we're going to talk about a few of my objectives. I want to do a little bit of a business overview, which is a video presentation. It's about 8 minutes long. And then I'm going to go into my story, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay. So let me read to you what is on this website about my bio. So my name is Sherletta Germain. I was raised in Flint, Michigan. I moved to Tampa Bay, Florida in 2007 or 2008. I am the only girl and the youngest of three. I am a licensed life and health insurance broker with a background in leadership, healthcare, and business. And although I experienced early childhood trauma, including the death of my mother as an infant, I do attribute my pain to my successes. In school, I immensely enjoyed singing, modeling, poetry, playing the violin and snare drum. And as an adult, I continued to sing and write poems and do short reads as a hobby. But I did become angry at life, and I did not speak publicly for 8 years. It was only after an unexpected breast cancer diagnosis in 2017 that I became more intentional about my gifts. And this is where I would begin my journey of healing and philanthropy. So I opened up a coaching consulting corporation in 2021 called the I Am Phenomenally Me Women's Society. My target audience is for women and children in business. And it was initially designed to bring awareness and to bring monies into the nonprofit organization. The organization was then switched to 2000 to a 501c3 that I envisioned in 2022. So I changed the classification from a incorporation to a nonprofit organization. I want to create a nonprofit organization for the purpose of providing a total wellness space that can provide access to those with limited financial resources, offer cranial prosthetics, musical therapy, and more. Since I began speaking, I have become a global inspirational storyteller, a podcaster, a co-author, which will soon be an author, and an orator. I do specialize in anger, faith, and the effects of ignoring the body. My style of inclusivism and wholeness approach inspires people to tap into their life's purpose through their self-discovery. And that is the end of my bio. I have 3 children, Stacy, Mina, and Nadia. And something that you will often hear me say is, where do the leaders go when they need healing? Right? So I don't have any music to transition us into yet. That's my bio. I want to go right into this business overview, and then we'll tap into the story. So let me see if I can give y'all some background music without my god brother. Okay. I'm ready. And it is another great day to be alive and give thanks. So thank you so much for your participation. I'd like to present to you a slideshow. My name is Sherletta Germain, and we want to talk about Sherletta Germain from the business perspective, the entity. So I put together this presentation. I want to take a few moments and go through it with you so that you can see what it is that we do here over at Sherletta Germain, the entity. All right. So here are the business-to-business consulting services for small businesses. This is an introduction to business consulting services targeted at small businesses. Sherletta Germain, LLC is a business consulting firm that provides services like strategic planning, operations, optimization, financial advisory, HR consulting, and more to small companies. Some of the services that we will talk about today are the products that we offer, as you see below. We do affiliate marketing, business-to-business consulting, philanthropy, in-person and virtual events, financial literacy supports, the digital podcast, the film review, and the product review. One of the things that we have been getting a lot of buzz about are our business website building packages. We have basic packages that start off on our 3-page websites. We do a 5-page website that has a responsive domain for mobile devices. And then we have the advanced packaging, which starts off at our 10-page package websites, responsive for design mobile devices, and some of the little intricacies, which you'll see here. I'm not going to read it all for you today. All right. On the consulting side, we offer basic building services. The packages is the domain registration, accepting the PayPal payments, which is important because you want to get a platform that basically secures your revenue, your income, your finances. And sometimes Cash App is just not it. If you're not Googleable, you are unable to gain that audience that you're looking for to capture the type of services that you're able to provide and just really scale your business. So we want to make sure that your domain is properly registered, that you have an online presence. And so we offer some tiered pricing because of that. Our packages and pricing are a little bit different. Some of our services are direct. We do have monthly ongoing services for subscription pricing, which I've listed here. The basic pricing is $99 a month, leading to $199 a month, depending on what it is that you're looking for and how quickly you're wanting to scale as a business. A part of what we offer are help with startup costs, branding and marketing materials, software, trademarking, accounting, in-person events, and monthly and annual subscriptions. This is actually a model that we're not only implementing for our own lives or our own business, but we're offering this same model to the businesses that we are helping and servicing around the country. Our end-to-end services, we can help you start or grow a successful small business. We do logo design, website building, business setup, and loans and credit help to access that business capital, that business credit, and those business lines of credit that you have heard people talk about. There is a difference to have your DUNS number and to get the certifications. It just takes a lot to actually do the paperwork that you need to run a successful business. So we do offer those services as a convenience to you while you go out there and do what it is that you're doing for your particular product or services. Our process is pretty simplified. We have initial consultations to find out if it's a good fit. We go through the strategic planning process to make sure that we're analyzing your business data and creating a strategic plan to help you achieve your personal goals for your business. We follow successes and steps to implement those plans. And then we have a measuring optimization tool that we use to track those results against goals and make those optimizations maximized, if you will, to have that impact that we're looking for your plan. So why choose SG LLC? We are an experienced consulting business. We have over 15 years experience in providing consulting services to small businesses. We create customized strategies. So we're listening to you and your needs, and we're tailoring the needs of what we know that we can do to offer for your services. These services are cost effective. Our services are very affordable for businesses and business budgets. In a time where we're entering a recession, we need to know how to maximize and stretch every dollar. So we've made it very cost effective here at SG LLC to be able to get those results that you need. Our proven consulting approach, it does help small businesses grow revenue, increase, and improve operations and boost profitability. And here's just one of the companies that we've helped. Naomi Sadiq said collaborating with SG Consulting enabled us to make our processes run smoother and grow our profitability. Their astute advice was priceless. All right, so the next steps in becoming a client are to schedule an initial consultation call with one of our account managers. This gives us an opportunity to learn about your business goals and challenges, and we'll assess if our services are a good fit to support you. And if so, we'll provide a proposal outlining the scope of work and the timeline and what the investment should look like. All right. And then lastly, we want to hear from you. If you need us, we can be reached at SherlettaGermain.com. All of the socials are the same. Sherletta Germain on LinkedIn, SherlettaGermain@gmail.com. And then Facebook is Sherletta Germain. Our phone number is area code 313-451-5577. We want to take this time to thank you for what you have done in terms of investing your time to learn a little bit about Sherletta Germain, the entity. And we hope to hear from you soon. And you know that we love referrals. All right. All right. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. All right. I did it. I did it without LP. Right. So that's an overview of our business services. I want to talk a little bit about my objectives because I want you to get to know me, who I am behind the scenes, right? So we've talked a little bit about what I do professionally. Some things that you might not know is that if you've listened to any of my reels, I stutter, which is a reason to not actually be a podcaster because you never know when that's going to come out, right? I had to start taking breathing exercises to know how to ground and calm, to speak slower and more intentional. I'm very shy. The flip side of that is that I'm excessively shy, like almost too much. And so getting and putting a light or a spotlight on anything that I am or that I do is just not something that I was ever interested in up until a few years ago, I think. And then I lost a lot. I became broke. I became homeless, and I was still pushing through these businesses. I don't think becoming homeless was a choice per se, but I would say that I just got tired of being bullied in the financial services streets. And I got tired of being taken advantage of with my insurance license by companies that figured how to, allegedly take commissions and not pay you for the work that you do when you're working 60 and 70 hours a week. I just decided that I wasn't going to do that anymore, and that I was going to place all bets on myself. It cost me some things, but I still got up and I did what I needed to do. So with that being said, we're going to go right into the next segment, which is my story. All right. I found out that I had breast cancer on my lunch break. So I'm going to unpack that story for you right now. And this is not an easy subject for me because it brings back so many memories. And so I'm going to do the best that I can, to get through all the facts, and then we'll go from there. Okay. So life has a way of just throwing some unexpected curves. They can forever alter our paths. Those curves can. So on an ordinary lunch break, I was struck with the news that I had breast cancer. My children at the time were 5, 8, and 15. And so there's an outline that I have, but I feel like it's easier for me to share this story in a more factual base if I just tell my story, right? So I went in for my first mammogram. I was working for a consulting firm. At that time, I feel like I was supporting probably between 10 and 15 executives. and decided that I was going to go and have my physical done because I had been traveling for a company previously, and I hadn't really taken the time to do a complete wellness check, an annual check, and I knew it was time. So I got a desk job, which I hated, by the way, but I did what I needed to do and was in Clearwater, Florida, actually St. Petersburg, Florida. I lived in Tampa, Florida, near the USF area, and I went and had my annual exam. It normally would take about an hour, but this doctor was so good that it took about 20 or 30 minutes. Did my lab work, did my height and weight, blood pressure, breast exam, and pap smear lab work, and referred me to go downstairs and have my mammogram, which I was interested in having, but not at that particular time because I didn't think that I had enough time. But I did promise the doctor that I would stop and make an appointment. Well, as life would have it, the appointment ended up, the annual exam ended early, as I stated. So I went downstairs and scheduled the appointment. The young lady that was at the desk was not a lady that was normally used to working in that particular office. And she explained to me that she was having a hard time getting me an appointment and asked me if I wanted to stay. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to stay. I don't have time. And she says, well, she ordered a 3D mammogram, I think it's called. And so it's not as invasive, it's not as painful, and it takes about 15 minutes. I said, okay, well, that should give me enough time to make it to work on time. And so we were able to manipulate the system, and I was able to get a same date mammogram appointment. Well, as life would have it, 48 hours later, I was getting a call stating that I needed a diagnostic mammogram. And during that mammogram, I would get news one way or the other, whether or not this was actually cancer related. Now, I don't have a history of cancer in my family. Not on my mother's side, not on my father's side. I had to do a little digging on my father's side because, as life would have it, I don't really know that side of the family as well as I feel like I should. And there wasn't a lump, right? I did feel some sharp pains, sort of like the bursts that you get when you get ready to have your cycle, or if you've ever breastfed, when your milk ducts started opening up and it's time to, breastfeed or whatever, it's time for your cycle. So just going through that, and that's it. And I had a biopsy, and the biopsy confirmed that it was stage 2, grade 1 carcinoma of the left breast, ductal carcinoma of the left breast in situ. No idea what that meant. Didn't even know that there was even more than one type of breast cancer. And so I went through one very popular organization, Moffitt, in Tampa, and got onto their team of doctors. And that doctor looked at me and she told me that she wasn't going to give me a double mastectomy. She was going to give me a lumpectomy and radiation. And I didn't understand who she thought she was. So I ended up switching care. In the process of that, after I switched, I met an amazing doctor, Dr. Evan Tummel, who worked with Dr. Joseph Brown. They did an 8.5-hour surgery of removing all of my breast tissue and giving me temporary tissue expanders. And I proceeded to go through my healing process, which it wasn't easy. It wasn't fun. It was a lot that went with that. So that mammogram that turned into a diagnostic mammogram, that turned into a biopsy, that turned into a cancer diagnosis, it happened in a window of about 10 to 14 days. During that time, my youngest daughter had just turned 5 in April. I've got the diagnosis in May. My son was just going to, I believe, the 9th or 10th grade. And my youngest daughter was, I feel like she was in the whatever 8 is, so 3rd grade, 4th grade. The case manager was amazing. She was beautiful. She was young, and she brought me into this really prestigious office. The seats were just amazing. It just didn't seem like why are you having me come into this room to have a conversation with you? So I was numb. I had no idea you tell me to go somewhere, I'm just showing up, right? So I'm showing up, and I go through the diagnostic mammogram, and she actually has the results of the diagnostic mammogram, which is meant or needed to schedule the biopsy. And she proceeds to tell me that these procedures come back benign all the time, which means don't worry, you probably don't have cancer, but we're going to do our precautions just to make sure. During the biopsy, you are awake, you're numbed, but you're awake, you're laying flat on your stomach, and they're taking a needle biopsy. They're taking the exchange of the tissue that they pull out. They pull out about 2 or 3 samples, and then they put that tissue under some type of scope. The scope reads the whole sample and pulls it up on a screen. Now, everybody was saying the devil is a lie. I don't believe it. This is not happening. You're projecting and, you're tripping, Sherletta. But I saw what the screen looked like, and the screen looked like very different from the normal fatty tissue that's in your breast area from the cancerous tissue. And I knew before it was confirmed. I had to figure out how to balance life and work. I still had to support these 14 or 10 people at least on my desk. I had to drive an hour and a half home in traffic, and I had to prepare dinner for my children, find out if they had any homework, do whatever it was that they needed to do, put them to bed, and then I could deal with the fact that I was just told that I had cancer on a weekday. Still had to show up for work the next day, right? You don't just get to immediately take time off work, even though your brain is going in 1,000 directions. So on June 12th, 2018, I laid on my back, and I opted, because I knew I wasn't having any more children, to have all of my breast tissue removed with the tissue expanders and taking radiation off of the table, because it's just not something that I wanted for my journey. So I had to pretend like I was normal. I had to show up for people every day. I had to be a single mom, right? There were so many battles, because when I got diagnosed with the breast cancer, I also got diagnosed with complex PTSD, as well as anxiety and depression. So I'm only dealing with not just one diagnosis, but 4 new diagnoses that I had not previously been diagnosed with before. And I had to navigate through that experience and make sure that my children weren't bullying one another, that they weren't self-harming, because there was definitely a time where those things were going on within my family, and I had to take my children to counseling, and we just had to go through our healing processes. I did reach out to my loved ones. I have a Facebook that's not this current Facebook, and there were so many people that had gathered around me and became my soul tribe, including a young lady who has a nonprofit organization to help families with cancer. And she herself ended up getting diagnosed herself. And shout out to you for ringing your bell, Natasha. I love you so much. And I appreciate you. And Flint Northern Class of 91, the St. Joseph medical staff, Dr. Tummel, Dr. Brown, the consulting firm, which gave me a really good insurance plan, which I feel like it saved my life, along with prayers of people that supported me. And so I began to share my story. I had a lot of hiccups. There was a couple of times where I almost didn't make it. There were major complications with the chemotherapy that they were giving me. I ended up getting kick punched into menopause. I had to have a full hysterectomy immediately. And if you don't know anything about breast cancer, the ovaries and the breast tissue work together to produce estrogen. And my cancer was estrogen based. And so my body was literally fighting against itself to keep itself alive. And I almost died. Thank God I'm still here to share my story. So I discovered some resilience. I discovered a will to fight. And to be honest, I was angry. I was pissed. And I heard myself saying something like, it just made it still puts a frog in my throat when I think about it, because I was angry with God. And my Christian friends told me to stop. But I said, God has to deal with me in this anger because I can't get through it if I'm upset. And I remember saying, I've been through all of this. My mother passing away. I've been sexually assaulted in my home. I've been church hurt. I've been, abandoned and all of this stuff that I've gone through. And I found myself getting ready to say, you couldn't have given this to any. Check yourself, Sherletta. Because what makes you think that you are less deserving of this experience than someone else? And so it was in that moment that I wept. I was scared. And I asked God, if you keep me here, you keep me here. And you allow me to live through this experience. I promise you that I will share my story with anybody that will take the time to listen, to help them heal, to help them know that they're not alone, to be able to be an organization that is likened unto the Susan B. Komens, but really taps into the lives of the people that really need it, which are the people that are dealing with active cancer and their families. You should not have to, in my opinion, as an American U.S. tax-paying citizen, have to decide whether or not you're going to pay for chemotherapy or risk having your car repoed or losing your house or having to pay the prescription, but not the phone bill. I feel like it's unfair, right? And so that's the reason that I want to do the things that I'm doing. I finished up my treatment around January of 2020. 6 surgeries later, I feel like it was 6 surgeries. A couple of them were unnecessary. Had I been healing, I was developing necrosis of the suture area. Whenever they'd cut me open, it would turn pussy and green, and I'd open right back up, and they'd give me topicals and orals and things to try and do, and I just wasn't healing. I was overweight, I was stressed, I was depressed, and found a way to get back up again. God spared my life. And I don't take that lightly. And so to be able to share my story and inspire some people to get up and rise, get up and do again the thing that you were sent here to do. I feel like that is my honor, it's my duty, it is my passion, it is my gift to share my story and allow other people to share their stories. Because what happens when you don't have a voice, right? Things begin to populate inside of your body, and that's for another time. So I want to finish up by saying I finished up my treatment. There seemed to be a sense of normalcy after that. I returned to one of the things that I have a passion for, which is education and financial services. So going back into that industry for a while and embracing my dash, right? Reflecting on life's essence. I began to do the 60-minute short reels and post things that make people laugh and inspired and happy and all of those things that are important, because they are important. You have to find a meaning behind and beyond the diagnosis, right? We have to shape our legacy. It wasn't time for me to go. I felt that I could not be the generational curse that my children grew up without their mother like I grew up without mine. So if there's anything that I can do to assist you in whatever it is that you're doing in your journey in this thing called life, especially as relates to business, I'm willing and able. I'm happy to help. Again, my name is Sherletta Germain. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. I got a couple more things lined up for you, and then we're getting ready to get up out of here. So thank you for listening to my story. SherlettaGermain.com. We're taking donations to the channel. That's the end of this segment. Now what I'd like to do is I'd like to go ahead and present to you an opportunity to become a guest on the Shet Show, but not before I talk to you about the support that we need for the channel. So let's give you a little bit more music. See if I can make that happen. So, welcome back to the Shet Show-Abundance Conversations. In case this becomes a commercial, welcome back to the Shet Show-Abundance Conversations. Before we continue, I want to take a moment to express our sincere gratitude for your support and to let you know how you can help us grow and achieve our goals. We are a small team with big dreams, and we can't do this without you. So, some of the things that you can do: subscribe and share. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button on your podcast platform and share our episodes with your friends and family. This is a simple act that helps us reach new audiences. It's called digital currency. Leave us a review, right? We have a review section on the website, SherlettaGermain.com. We'll eventually be getting on platforms like Apple Podcasts, and those things will make a huge difference. So take a moment to leave an honest review and let us know what you enjoyed about the show, because it does boost our visibility. Facebook Live and YouTube is primarily where you'll see us. You'll see us on Alignable and LinkedIn and some of the other places too, but that's where you're primarily going to find us. And then we should be Googleable, all right? Engage with us on social media. Follow us on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter. Join our discussions, share your thoughts, connect with our community. We'd love to hear from you, and also spread the word. The word of mouth is so powerful. Please tell your colleagues, your neighbors, and online communities about our podcast, The Shet Show. Your personal recommendations mean the world to us, and also stay updated, obviously. You want to visit our website and sign up for our newsletter when it's time, but make sure that you're visiting our website, and it's the best way to stay updated on upcoming episodes, special events, and exclusive contents. And as we work behind the scenes to provide you with an even better listening experience, we have exciting plans for our future. Myself and LP here at the Shet Show, our goal is to eventually become monetized so that we can continue to create valuable content for you. So here's what's on the horizon: the subscriptions, which we talked about, the advertisements, so partnering with us with relevant relevant sponsors. We can bring you high quality products and services that align with our podcast values. Our social networking meetups, we're excited to host virtual and in-person meetups where you can connect with like-minded individuals from our community. And that concludes the support section of the Shet Show. Your support means everything to us, and I cannot wait for us to grow together. Please remember to take those actionable steps that we just talked about, and stay tuned for the amazing content we have in store. And thank you for supporting us via digital currency. All right. And so finally, and last but not least, before we get out of here, I want to talk to you about becoming a guest on the Shet Show, right? It's the most important part, because we can't do us without you, and we can't do you without us. Well, we could, but I'm sure it wouldn't be fun. So I'm going to go ahead and present to you. This is probably about 8.5 minutes, and donate to the channel. Come hang out with us on the Shet Show every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. I probably didn't even say that for this whole show. So, all right, LP, in your absence, I'm doing my thing. Let's share this screen and do what we got to do, okay? All right. Wherever you are on the planet, my name is Sherletta Germain. I'm the host of the Shet Show. I want to welcome you to the podcast presentation we're going to present to you tonight. All right. I know a lot of you have been asking how to get on the Shet Show. What is the Shet Show and how can we be a part? Right? We're doing some dynamic things behind the scenes. We still need some time to get things lined up. And so I figured this would be a great time to introduce to you what the show is about and how you can become a guest. So I've decided to share my screen and we're just going to tap right in, okay? I think, wait a minute. Hold on. Okay. All right. All right. So the Shet Show podcast presentation, this is an introductory podcast episode about two friends having candid conversations. The Shet Show is a podcast focused on having insightful conversations about abundance. In each episode, we'll feature an in-depth discussion between the host, myself, I like to call myself Shet, and a guest on topics related to living a more abundant life. We have a pretty basic standard about the way that we interview. It's just a set of 6 basic questions. It's our main frame, I call it. We keep those questions basic because it allows us to pull out some stories that our guest will share to maximize their storytelling and to have these dialogues in a conversational setting so that it's not boring or one-sided. One of the things that makes us unique here at the Shet Show, we don't charge guest fees for a guest to come on the show. If we invite you to become a guest, we won't charge you to come on the show or for some of the promotions that we do. Now, we do offer some free promotions and some packages for cross-posting and whatnot, but the initial posting and the plug that we give you, we won't charge you for that, all right? We have a welcoming environment, so we do aim to have a fun, relaxed environment for our guests to share their stories. We have a diverse group of guests that will come from all walks of life and backgrounds. We'll be having candid discussions, unorthodox topics, and also entertaining topics to keep our listeners engaged. Our team members are myself, Sherletta Germain, which I go by Shet, and Larry Penton is our co-host and our moderator. Larry Penton is the CEO and founder of Penton Pending Consulting Solutions, LLC. He's a licensed paramedic and a firefighter as well. And he hails in the Carolina areas, and he's a Midwesterner just like myself. Paperwork, something that we never look forward to, but one of the things that we love to talk about is paperwork. It's important that we protect our brand here at the Shet Show, as well as making sure that you protect yours. So we will have you sign off on a non-disclosure agreement. Each guest must sign a non-disclosure agreement to protect our personal and confidential information. We'll also have you sign a social media release to allow us to use your name and your images and the likenesses thereof for social media content. We have a guest information sheet, which is basic demographic information. Who are we interviewing? How can we reach you? Where can our audience find you? We want to be able to have all of that information on hand before we interview you. Each guest will also be required to sign a consenting release that gives us the permission to record and release the episode either on video or audio or both. We do ask that you send us a professional photo in high resolution for a headshot for our marketing materials or your logo or whatever it is that you're asking us to help promote. And then a short biography of yourself, who you are, what your background is like, and how can we reach you. Some of the guests that we've had on the show before the Shet Show was the Shet Show. It was the I Am Phenomenally Me podcast. And so we've had some opportunities on Clubhouse and on places like Anchor and Facebook and Instagram. And so these are just a few of the previous guests: Rosalind Camper, Brittany DeSoul, Cassandra Mitchell, also known as Loyalty and Friends. And then, of course, I can't forget about Chef Coco Black, Dear Abuser, Rosalind Camper. I think I talked about her. And then our Black History celebration. We did that all month for the month of February in 22. Some of the ways that we talked about promoting a little bit is at cost to do additional promotions, either on the Instagram or the Facebook ads. And we also have email blasts that are coming soon at cost. All right. When our show gets recorded, it's going to be recorded on StreamYard, and then again on YouTube and Facebook simultaneously. However, our shows get sent over to California, where they have 11 additional platforms that our shows will be listed on, including Spotify and Apple and some of the bigger names. So we plan on having you being heard as our guest all across the world. Different ways that we are going to show you how to grow your audience. You can see there, I'm not going to go through too much of that slide. And that is the end of the slide. So for any questions, please make sure that you reach out to us at SherlettaGermain.com. Otherwise, we will see you later. I thank you so much for attending this brief overview on what the Shet Show is, Abundance Conversations, and I look forward to having you on the show as our next guest. All right? You all be well today and have a phenomenal day. Remember, don't sweat the small stuff. All right? I'll see y'all later. Thank you so much for your listening ears. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for being a part of the Shet Show Abundance Conversations. Yesterday made 30 days in. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that. So I'm looking forward to having a phenomenal journey with you all, right? Abundance on purpose. Glasses have probably been crooked this whole time. You know what I'm saying? It's okay though. We're going to make it through. All right. Salute, man. Peace out. We'll see y'all next time. Well, I'll see y'all next time with LP. I love you, God, brother. Just wanted to do this without you, man. Show you I could be a big girl. All right. Later, Gators.